Hello everyone, welcome back to Bombe, where we're teaching the computer to play Mine. I'm sure somewhere in one of these videos I've said Minecraft, but the game is Minesweeper that we're teaching the computer to play. We're just kind of beginning to dip our toes into the inequality puzzles here. We've made some... Is inequality the right word? They're at most at least limiting? I don't know. We've made some regions like this of our own, but got a bit stuck on what exactly to do with them here. That's weird. I thought I ended up writing a rule that would... Do I need to... I wrote a rule that puts stuff here. Did it go away? Did I not save it? I don't know. Anyway, we're not really ready to solve this puzzle yet, I think. So I want to play more with smaller inequality puzzles, so that I'll have a good set of tools already for jumping into the ones where there's complicated groups. So what's going on here? If there's at most one here, well, that overlaps pretty well with this, right? So where these overlap, I don't think I really care at all about the sizes of any of these regions. Actually, I guess, yeah, I don't care about the size here, right? Because I'm going to say there's at least one in this region. I could say there's exactly one, and that would solve it. I could just say mark it as a mine if I were specific to one. But if I instead say I don't care about the sizes at all, mark it as at least one here, then for a region of size 1, that'll propagate forward into solving. And for larger regions, it'll be what I want to write, right? I want to write one or more. So like this. Yeah, that seems right. And that solves the puzzle. Great. Well, let's turn down this solve speed a little so we can watch it go blip, blip, blip when we solve a puzzle. It was, I don't know, it's just kind of a nice visual feedback, or I don't know, a nice, like, something to light up the reward centers of your brain. It was annoying while we were grinding through large numbers of puzzles that we'd already solved, but... Okay, well, here we go. This region is just all it needs to be. Yep, that's my rule. If there's a region of size 5 with 5 or more mines, then they're all mines. The overlap here seems good. If there's only 3 places to put mines, and I think I can put a lot of don't cares in here, right? Don't care, don't care, don't care. Then there's at least one mine in their overlap, right? Yes, here. What's happening? Did this rule, did I make this rule? Yeah, this doesn't look like it was written into the puzzle. I said a 2 overlapped with a 1 minus. Okay, so I think that's... I guess I've made this rule too, huh? Okay, well, maybe we can say don't bother writing that down. 1 or fewer mines in a... Okay, so show creation rule. Maybe I'll just say don't make this if there's... No, I hit update. Okay. That's not what I wanted at all. Shoot. This rule. Show creation rule. This used to say... Okay. Edit rule. This used to say question mark, right? But actually, I don't want to mark a region as having one or fewer mines unless it's size at least 2. Because if it's size 1, that's just sort of a waste, right? It's not telling me anything. There's at most 1 mine in this cell. Let's just not write that. So now if I hit refresh regions, this should go away? Yes. Okay. So it's perfectly valid to write that, but it's just distracting and purposeless. So the wait, where is the good overlap to work with? It's like this, right? Yeah. This 2 overlapping with this 2. If there's only space for 1 mine outside, then there's at least 1 mine here. Right? And I don't really care about the sizes of the other regions. Hang on, who said you could do a thing? What happened here? Okay, again, I guess, all right, let's edit this rule as well. Only do this if there are at least size 2. Refresh regions, good. So we succeeded in saying there's at least 1 mine here. And that overlaps here, but I guess we haven't written... okay. Wait, what? I don't want to be in the region inspector. How do I edit a rule? Add to rule constructor. I guess I forgot that that's a button you have to press. So, if there's at least 1 mine in a region completely contained within a 2, don't care how big that region is, then we should write that there's at most 1 mine in the rest of it. And we should really do that no matter how big this is, even if it's only size 1, right? Well, is that useful? No, because we always know it's the case there's a most. I don't think that's useful. Maybe I'll find it is because... I don't know. Maybe it'll happen somehow. This also seems like it could be an important thing. But anyway, if so there's at least 1 here, therefore there's at most 1 here. Oh, it snuck back in. Oh, right, but that's because I didn't update this. Edit the rule again. This should only do this if there are 2 or more, please. Rule already present. Okay, show the rule that made this. Just delete it, I guess. But is that the same as the rule that made this? A 1 plus overlapping with a 2. Yeah, I guess just delete this rule. So I have this. This is... It seems like it ought to be useful somehow. How do these 2 interact? I don't know. They don't seem that interesting together. Huh. Okay, so let's imagine I were just solving this puzzle by hand. There's 2 here. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't the overlap of these 2 2s important? It should get me... Like, this 2 touches almost all of this. But I guess not all of it, right? It gives me 1 or more here, which is what I wrote down. And that gives me at most 1 here. Huh. What am I missing? What is this? Is this telling me something? I don't know. You know what? Well, first of all, let's see how many of these we solve just by, like, our existing rules. It's a lot. And we've unlocked still more complicated puzzles, apparently. So there's 15 of these we don't solve. Fine. I want to leave this one for now. What about this stuff? Presumably there will be more than 15 left because there will be some difficult situations brought about just by having larger numbers. Yeah, okay. Interestingly, only fewer puzzle or clues. Or I guess this is our single thing that says there's... Because without this clue, we could just say, oh, there's none in the whole puzzle. So this clue must be important. It overlaps with this, right? In a pretty obvious way. That I guess we haven't written down yet. If there's one that is definitely contained within, i.e. has no outside parts, a 1 or fewer, then no matter the size of these areas, we can say that everything that does not overlap the 1 in the 1 or fewer must be a non-mine. And now we have new information, I guess. I thought we would just have the puzzle solved, but no, of course. Clicking on squares gives you information. That's how Minesweeper works. Now this 2? Hang on. I mean, can I say if there is an at most 1 that is exactly overlapping with a 1, or even if it's contained within, right? I could just delete it. But I think hiding it is safer because maybe I'll have some rule that works with at most 1s, right? Yeah, I don't think I should delete it. But I can say, go ahead and hide the at most 1 layer for me in that case. Why can I not? I see. So you can hide... That's not an action. It's part of the region. So I can mark the region hidden? Yes. Okay. That's nice. Simplifies things a little bit. So I guess it's this whole wire thing again. I don't know if I mentioned the word wire last time we were looking at these chains, but it's because I remember reading way back in college about how Minesweeper is NP complete, right? You can construct a Minesweeper puzzle that maps exactly to, for example, a 3-sat. I think I'm not very good at NP complete, like whatever, but like the maps to any NP complete problem, and one of them is like somehow related to circuit diagrams. You can kind of write, you can draw wire, you can write an equivalent of wires in Minesweeper, where like if this thing is true, then this cell over here must also be true. You can write AND gates, you can write OR gates, and so on. And so I think of these as wires, where like this cell here must be the same as this cell here, because it must be different from this cell. Right? If there's a region with two size 2, one mine, then the two mines within it are opposites. And if you have two such regions which intersect, then across those regions you get a 0 or 2 effect. Sort of, right? I thought I'd already written that, but I guess I wrote the 4 version of it. I haven't written the 2 version of it. So this and this, if their intersection is size exactly 1, then there's a new version that's 0 or 2, or a new layer. Right? Like, I don't know if I want this region to be, could I say hidden? No. So I can create the region, and then if I want, I can have a separate rule that hides it, I guess. So that's sort of interesting. But I don't know that it really does anything. Does it? What about this? This is, I don't know what to do with this and this. It should do something though, right? Like, we can try to do this in a like case-by-case sort of analysis, right? Just say, what if this were the only non-mine for this too? Well, that would be interesting, right? This would be a non-mine, this would be a mine, this would be a non-mine, and then this would be easy to satisfy. And these would both be mines, which means this wouldn't be. Like, that seems perfectly possible. So it seems possible for this to be a non-mine. Is it possible for this to be a non-mine? That might be difficult, actually. Because there'd be a mine here, and a mine here. And that puts a mine here. And then none here. That seems okay too. So could this be the only non-mine? That also seems like it should be possible, right? There'd be mines here and here. Therefore none here, therefore one here. I don't know. This seems like you could do anything and you'd be fine. I can't find any squares that are guaranteed to be mines. I mean, I guess given how many or fewer clues there are, I should be looking for squares that could be non-mines, which is what I was, sorry, squares that I could prove must be non-mines, which I would do by assuming they are mine and disproving it. Like, for this to be a mine is sort of difficult, because it's part of 2 one or fewer regions. That would mean, like, no mines in all of this. Yeah, that's impossible. This can't be a mine. Because there'd be no mine here, and also no mine here, and this too would be unhappy. But how on earth can I write a general case version of that rule? Like, I can see how to do it with the 4 regions that I have, this 0 or 2, right? But my goodness. There's got to be something more general here. Maybe not. Let's imagine, I guess, that this 0 or 2 weren't a separate region at all, but rather that this square and this square were in the same place. This region reached all the way up here. Then what would I be looking at? I'd be looking at, like, at most one mine. I can't, like, somehow combine this region and this region, right? I can't say, oh, there's at most one mine in this whole area, because there could be one here and one here, for example. But it's tough for there to be one in the intersection. Okay, let's just write down the, like, really complicated 5-region rule that I came up with, and we'll see if we can simplify it some other time. So, oh gosh, where can I afford to put question marks? So the region where the 2 -1s overlap, I can put a mine, right? Illogical. Really? Sorry, I can say there's not a mine. Yes, it likes that. So I can generalize this somehow. I think I like most, I don't care about the size of most of these regions, right? Except the ones involving the 2. So I think I can, like, oh. Except really this one, right? No. Undo. When did I... You didn't like this. The fact that this has to be size 1. Yes, I was wondering if that was relevant. 1 or fewer? You don't like that. So if this region were... Yeah, that's true. If this expanded out elsewhere, there would be problems. So we can say that this can't be a mine. Okay, that was enough to solve the puzzle. But boy, that's a complicated rule that is not going to have very general application. So what's up with this 5? It just has to have an overlap with a 1 or fewer. That's very straightforward. In fact, we can write a more general rule. What's my general rule for 5s in overlapping with things? Do I have one? It seems like I can write a fairly general rule here if, well, like, can I not just say this is a one, like, yeah, go back to that rule I was looking at a second ago. Yeah, I think I can do better than this now. I don't really want to change this rule, but I think I can. Also, the fact that this needs to be a 2 is just crazy. Yeah, let's just remove that rule. It sucks. So if I do that, am I going to, like... There are now rules that I previously solved that are not solved with the current rules that I have, I think. I sort of wish that I could highlight those somehow. But I believe what I'm about to do will satisfy all of them. So what I want to say is that when a 5 overlaps with a rule of any kind, of any size, and there's space for 4 elsewhere, then we can say there must be at least one where they overlap. That solves the puzzle. What am I looking at here? Oh, this is a puzzle I already did, I guess. Okay, and coming to this area, it solved some new puzzles. Okay. One or more in a region, okay. So do I not have a rule for 1 or more interacting with 2 or less yet? It doesn't say update rule, so I must not. So if a 1 or more is consumed within a 2 or less, then let's actually be a little bit more explicit. And the place where they don't overlap is size 2 or more. Then we'll go to the trouble of writing 1 or fewer. Because otherwise we'd just be marking one cell as 1 or fewer. Cool. Let's maybe slow this down so I can have the excitement of watching some of them be solved. And maybe see what rule chains are used. So, a 2, 1 or fewer, 1 or fewer, 1. What's so exciting here? I don't see much in the way of overlap. Well, I guess the point is at least one of these 2 squares must be a mine because there's this 2 here. So I guess what I want is just a general rule for when a 2 interacts with 2 other regions. All of them at size 1, basically. So this 2, there's a 1 there, a 1 there, and a 1 there. And I don't really care about the sizes of everything else. Then there must be at least one where drawn between the region where the 2 overlaps one of them with the region where the 2 overlaps the other, right? Oh, because I made this region. Okay, hang on. It's important that there not be a place where the two other regions... where all three of them overlap, rather, I guess. Okay. So I put a 1 or more here. Great. Does that help somehow? It seemed like it would. Let's actually start writing some rules to clean space up. Maybe like this 1 or more is sort of redundant because it's inside of a 2, right? We always know this to be true. It's a useful rule for other rules to infer based on, but it's not like important for us to see. I guess I don't know. Right now it's sort of important because I don't know how to solve this fucking puzzle, and it's one of the inferences I have available. Right, the fact that there's this overlap here and like this seems important. Yeah, right? Because if either one of these is a mine, which must be true, then either this group is full or this group is full, and their intersection can't have any mines. So I could have done this specifically for them also overlapping with a 2 in various ways, and maybe I have done that in the past. But now I can do it based on the 1 plus that they're sharing. So put this in, and this in, and this in. And I don't care about that size. I mean, I don't really think I care about any of the sizes. Except the zeros, which are important, probably. The place where the 1 and the 1 or fewer overlap here, that can't be mines. Yeah. This is the same puzzle. I just marked this 1 square, and I guess apparently this one. Or no, maybe not. And I got some new information. Okay. It's getting a little crowded. I have another one of these 1 pluses that showed up here. Inside of a 2 plus, which is not redundant. But shouldn't I then say there's at most 1 in this area, like between here and here? That's definitely true. If there's at least 2 here, then we'll make that marking that there's at most 1 mine, right? Illogical. Oh yeah, of course. Because this is 2 or more. There could be a billion mines in there. Never mind. If it were 2, then sure, we could write 1 or fewer. I mean, the 2 or more looks important. Because... yeah... where it overlaps here, we can say there's only 1... there's at most 1 mine where they overlap, right? I mean, in fact, technically, anywhere a one or fewer overlaps with any other rule, we can also say there's one or fewer in that overlap. That's going to involve writing out a lot of clues, maybe. But it'll probably be helpful somehow. Where a one or fewer, don't care about that size, overlaps with any other clue, and there's an overlap of at least 2, then it's worth writing down that there is one or fewer mine in the overlap. I wish I could make that hidden, but it seems like I can't. So I've now written down one or fewer in this area, which should let me put one or more in. So overlapping that, it's within an area contained by a 2. So don't care about the size of the overlap or the size of the remaining 2. I can say there's one or more in the non-overlapping part. Really? I don't have something for one or more and one coinciding yet? That's a surprise. Can I sort these somehow? Yeah. I have this one. What's this all about? Why does this need 3? If there's a one or more... Oh yeah, this... Right. If there's a one or more that can't put any of its mines down without being in at least one of these 2 regions, then the region's intersection must be empty. That makes sense. Okay, I guess I just don't have this rule yet. I have this. I mean, in some sense, this is a more general form, right? I could say in every region of size 1, there's at most one. In any region with 1 mine, there's at most 1 mine. And I think I would get there, right? So I'm still not sure like what the right discipline is for writing like redundant information. Deriving things that are obvious in like it's going to clutter things, but also, well, I can just write another rule to hide the clutter, right? So let's simplify this and say in every region with exactly 1 mine, there is at most 1 mine. It solves the puzzle. And at some point when we start getting distracted by those regions, we can write a rule that hides them if they're uninteresting. Which they will be, right? If there's at most 1 mine written inside of a 1 mine, I don't really care. I'll always want to hide that, and I doubt I'll want to go looking for it. But I might start having so many hidden rules that I can't sift through them all, and then I could be a little annoyed. For example, and at most 1 within another at most 1, we could hide that. Can't I? No. Oh, I don't understand this shit. I thought I once managed to write... Oh, I see. Hidden... Right, you mark it there. So hide this. So maybe I could have done that in the last rule. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, now we've gotten rid of that. Isn't that nice? So I guess it's the interaction of the one or fewer with the three or more, right? Don't care about how much is left over here. Don't really care about the size of the intersection. Do I? Wait, hang on. No. But if there's only space for two outside, then there must be one or more in the intersection. And I don't actually care what this rule is. Oh my gosh, we've been going for 40 minutes again? I feel like I just started. Isn't this like the same rule I just did? No, because that was 3 or more. This is exactly 3. But I have a rule for that. I guess I have a rule for 3s and 1s. So we can edit this rule and say, I don't actually care what this is. Those are all mine. No, 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 no. Well, I see. I can't say they're all mines. What I can say is that at least one of them is. No, I guess not, right? In fact, I shouldn't even need the rule for 3s and 1s anymore. Once I write this rule, because I'm implicitly putting one or fewers inside of every one, and the rule for 3 and 1 or fewer will just fall out into a solution for 3 and 1 as well. So anyway, let's put this in the rule constructor and put this in as well, and say I don't really care how big this is or this. But I can say these are all mines, right? Update rule. I wonder what rule I just updated. Well, there's 4 or more in a region of size 4. That's very simple. Hang on, what? So, okay, this is right. Toggling visibility for this specific region, not for like a rule that I'm about to make based on it. Okay, so rule constructor, these are all mines, yes. All right, so 45 minutes. Let's take a break. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.